Hello guys, welcome to my SQL series on Learn In. My name is Nse. In this video, we are going to talk about comparison and logical operators as they are used to perform various operations on data in your database. Comparison operators enable you to compare two values and determine the relationship between them. Comparison operators include equal to, not equal to, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Notice the symbols that denote these operators. The equal to sign is the equal to sign that we know. Not equal to combines the exclamation sign with equal to sign. Less than uses this symbol. This is the less than symbol. Less than or equal to combines the less than symbol with equal to symbol. This is the greater than symbol. Greater than or equal to combines the greater than symbol with the equal to symbol. Now let's head over to command line client and see some examples. So here in the command line client, I have already entered my password. So the next thing I want to do is use database. So I'll still use the bookstore database, and within the bookstore database, remember we have the employees table. We will still work with the employees table. Now to use the equal to sign, the equal to operator is used to check two values for equality. Let's see an example so that we can understand it better. Let's say that we want to select employees with the age of 30. In that case, our query would look like this: select star from employees where age is equal to 30, would have the semicolon, and then we would hit enter. Now notice that the rows returned to us are all the rows where age has the value of 30. So the equal to operator is going to help you to compare two values for equality. Now we are working with age and we are working with 30. So we are checking to see employees that have age exactly equal to 30. And that's what we have returned to us here. Nse Sam has age of 30. Nse Joe has age of 30. Denise Fuji has age of 30. Now if we select star from employees and we check through this employees table, you're going to find that it is only these three employees that have age of 30. Let's say we want employees with salary of 5,000, then we would say select star from employees where salary is equal to 5,000, end with semicolon, hit enter, and here we have all the employees with salary of 5,000. Now the not equal to operator does the opposite of what equal to operator does. Not equal to compares two values and checks to see if they are different. So let's use the very last query that we just worked with: select star from employees where salary is equal to 5,000. I'll bring back this query, and then remember that the not equal to operator is exclamation mark combined with equal to symbol. So I'm going to have it this way. So this now makes this query to say select star from employees where salary not equal to 5,000. Now let's hit enter to execute this query. And notice now that we have 17 rows returned. So running this query with not equal to would simply give us all the employees that have salary different from 5,000. So if you look in this salary column, you are not going to see 5,000 anywhere. So while salary equal to 5,000 will give us employees with salary of 5,000, salary not equal to 5,000 is going to give us employees with salary different from 5,000. Just like we have seen here in this table, we saw employees with age equal to 30. Let's bring that back. So now if we want employees with age not equal to 30, then we would have all the employees except the ones that have age 30. Let's run this code. Now notice that we have all our employees with age not equal to 30. If you check in the age column, you're not going to see 30. So not equal to does the exact opposite of what equal to does. I hope that that's clear. Now let's talk about less than. The less than operator compares two values to see which value is numerically smaller than the other. Let's say that we want to collect all the salaries less than 5,000. We are simply going to say select star from that. If we want everything, of course we can select columns, so we can say select first name, last name from employees where salary is less than, remember that's the less than operator, is less than 5,000. We'll end with the semicolon and we hit enter. Now what this query is going to show us would just be first name, last name. While considering this condition, the salary has to be less than 5,000. So in this case, we would only see first name and last name of employees with salary less than 5,000. Now let's include the salary column in this query so that we would be able to see the values conveniently. So now notice here that all the salaries shown to us are values less than 5,000. If you look in the salary column, you're not going to see any value less than 5,000, and you are not going to see 5,000 either. Now if you want to see the value less than 5,000 and also see 5,000, then we would use the less than or equal to operator. So I'll just come here and I'll have the equal to sign in front of this less than sign, and that makes it into less than or equal to. And if we execute this query, you're going to notice that we have salaries less than 5,000 and we also have 5,000 included. So this is basically giving us salaries less than 5,000 and salaries equal to 5,000. Let's see another example. Let's select star from employees where age is less than 30, semicolon, and we'll hit enter. So we have only Michael Cleve with age less than 30. His age is 28. Now if we want to actually include 30 in the selection, then we would say select star from employees where age is less than or equal to 30. And now notice that we have employees with age equal to 30 as well as employees with age less than 30. So in this age column we have 30 and we have 28, which is the only value in the employees table that's less than 30. I hope that that's clear. Now let's talk about greater than. Greater than would do the opposite of less than. So while less than is going to show values that are smaller, greater than shows values that are bigger. Let's see an example. Let's say that we want to retrieve employees whose age is greater than 25. So in that case, we are going to have select star from employees. That if we want everything, of course, remember that you can select just a few columns. You select star from employees where age, let's have age greater than 25, and notice that we have all the values in the age column greater than 25. So all the rows returned to us are rows that contain age which value is greater than 25. Let's see another query using salary. Let's return rows with salary greater than 5,000, not age now. Salary greater than 5,000, and these are all the employees whose salaries are greater than 5,000. So if you look in the salary column, you're not going to see any value less than 5,000. All these values are values greater than 5,000. We have 10,000 here, 20,000 here, 20,000 in 4 places, and 8,000. All these are values greater than 5,000. Now, if we want to include 5,000, then we should use greater than or equal to, and 5,000 will be included because this query is going to give us salary greater than 5,000 as well as salaries equal to 5,000. And so we have all the employees shown to us here with salaries equal to 5,000 and salaries greater than 5,000. In this salary column, you're going to notice that the least value we have is 5,000 and all the other values are greater than 5,000. I hope that that's clear. Let's see another example, and in this case we want to select the first name from the employees table where the length of the name is greater than a certain value, for example 3. To do that, we are going to have select first name. That's the only column that we want to consider now. First name from employees where length, remember the length function that returns the number of characters in a string. Length function shows the number of characters in a string. So we're going to have length, and it's the length of first name that we are considering, and we want first names with length greater than 3. So would have it written just like this. So in this example, we are asking MySQL to return first names that have more than 3 characters. Let's hit enter to execute. Notice that all the first names returned to us have characters greater than 3. Jeff has 5 characters, Michael has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters, Maria has 5 characters. And so if you look within this first name column now, you are not going to see any first name with character less than 3. All the first names returned to us have the number of characters greater than 3. So that's what greater than does. Using this example, we could have greater than or equal to, and then the values returned is going to show first names with length of 3 as well as first names with length greater than 3. I hope that you get the point. Now let's talk about logical operators. Logical operators enable you to combine or modify conditions. With logical operators, you can create more complex conditions by combining multiple simpler conditions. Some logical operators are logical and logical or. We have logical and, we have logical or. Logical and combines multiple conditions in a way that requires all conditions to be true for the combined expression to be true. Logical or needs at least one of the conditions to be true for the combined expression to be true. Let's head back to command line client and see examples. Let's see an example with logical and. Consider a scenario where you want to retrieve employees who are both younger than 35 and have a salary greater than 3,000. Then we are going to have select star from employees where age is less than 35 and salary is greater than 3,000. So here now we have two conditions. First, age less than 35, and second is salary greater than 30. Now let's execute this query and see what it comes to. Now notice that in this table, in the age column, we have ages less than 35. All the ages returned are less than 35. That's meeting this condition of age less than 35. And then in the salary column, we have salaries greater than 3,000. So here in the salary column, you're going to see that all the values are salaries greater than 3,000. That's meeting this second condition. And while working with logical and, all the conditions have to be met. And when a condition is met, we say it returns true. When a condition is not met, we know that it returns false. But you're not going to see true, you're not going to see false. You would just see the rows that satisfy the condition being displayed. So in this case, we only have ages less than 35 and salary greater than 3,000 shown. So if we introduce a third condition, we can say and first name equal to, and say, let's hit enter, and now notice that we have even fewer values returned to us because now we have three conditions that have to be met. Age has to be less than 35, salary has to be greater than 3,000, first name has to be equal to Nse. So the only employees returned to us are employees with first name of Nse, age less than 35, salary greater than 3,000. So that's how logical and works. All the conditions have to be met. So it is only the rows that meet all the conditions that will be selected. With the logical and operator, you can create more specific and targeted queries. Just like we've seen here, we went from age less than 35, salary greater than 3,000, which we had 8 rows returned, to age less than 35, salary greater than 3,000, first name equal to Nse, and we have 2 rows returned. I hope that you get the point. Now let's talk about the logical OR. Logical OR, like we said earlier, combines multiple conditions in a way that requires one condition to be met. Just one of the conditions have to be true for the combined expression to be true. So if we instead had select star from employees where age is less than 35 or salary is greater than 30, then the selected rows will be rows that have age less than 35 as well as salary greater than 3,000. Here, working with logical or, all the conditions do not have to be met. It's just one of the conditions that needs to be met, and then the rows that satisfy that would be returned. Let's execute this query, and you are going to notice that in this table, if you look in the age column, you're going to see some ages that are not less than 35, even though the condition here is that age should be less than 35. We have Johnson on row 10 with age of 40. Now, if you check, Johnson does not meet the age less than 35 condition because Johnson's age is 40. However, Johnson meets the salary greater than 3,000 condition. Johnson's salary is 20,000. We also have Dennis Fuji on row 13. Dennis Fuji's age is 35, and definitely 35 cannot be less than 35. That's funny. However, Denise Fuji's salary qualifies her to be here because her salary meets this condition of salary greater than 3,000. The point I'm trying to show here is that when you have the logical or, only one of the conditions needs to be true for a row to be selected. I hope that that's clear. Using the logical OR operator will allow you to create flexible queries by considering multiple conditions and selecting rows that fulfill any of those conditions. Let's see one more example. Let's have another condition. Let's say our last name equal to Fuji. Let's execute. Now this last name of Fuji has been considered, but it's not really obvious because the other conditions are satisfied in most cases too. Let's have this condition, first name equal to Nelson. Let's hit enter. Now notice that on row 19 we have Nelson, and if we check Nelson's age is 50. 50 is not less than 35, so Nelson doesn't satisfy this condition. If we check Nelson's salary is 2,400. 2,400 is definitely not greater than 3,000. So Nelson's salary, which is 2,400, does not satisfy this condition. However, Nelson has a first name of Nelson, obviously. So Nelson satisfies this condition. Just one condition out of the three conditions set here. And so Nelson's name has made the list. So that's basically it. With the logical OR, you need only one condition to be met for a row to be selected. I hope that that's clear. Now let's talk about not like. The not like operator is used to perform a pattern matching comparison against a string's columns value and retrieve rows where the value does not match the specified pattern. Let's head back to command line client. Before we use the not like operator, let's use the like operator. Let's select staff from employees where first name like, let's have SM, then percentage symbol, and then let's have semicolon. Remember what this will do. In one of our videos, we talked about the like operator. In this example, we want to select employees with first name that starts with SM. Remember that we have SM starting the string and then we are ending with this percentage symbol, which is a wild card. If you find this strange, you may want to refer to the video on refining selections. The link is in the description. Now this query is going to return to us all the first names that start with SM. Let's hit enter, and we do not have any first name that starts with SM, and so we have an empty set. Let's try with last name, and now notice that we have two rows returned to us. In these two rows, we have last name starts with SM, Smith at row 2, and Smith again at row 6. So that is what the like operator does. Now, not like operator would do the exact opposite. It will select all employees whose first names do not start with SM. Now let's bring back this query and let's have not like. Notice how it is written. You have not space and then you have like. That's how it is written. Now let's execute this query and you're going to notice that we do not have any last name that starts with the characters SM in the last name column. So what this basically does is it's going to show all the last names that do not start with SM. Unlike when we used like, we had only the last names that start with SM. Now let's see one last example of not like. Now we have select star from employees where first name not like this. We have the wildcards wrapping S. So this query is going to select first names that do not contain the letter S because we are using not like. If we were using like, it would give us all the first names that contain the letter S. I hope that's clear. Let's end with a semicolon and execute. Notice that we have 9 rows returned, and if we look in the first name column, we do not have any name that contains the letter S. I hope that's clear. Now let's talk about between operator. The between operator is used to filter data within a specified range. It's particularly useful when you want to retrieve rows where a certain value falls within a given range and both endpoints are inclusive. That means the value starting the range would be included and the value ending the range would be included. Let's head back to command line client. Now let's write an example. Let's say that we want to retrieve employees whose salaries are between 5,000 and 10,000. So in that case, we are going to simply say select star from employees where would have the column name. The column that we are considering here is the salary column. So would have where column between 5,000 and 10,000 would end with a semicolon, and let's hit enter. So you can see that we have only salaries that are between 5,000 and 10,000 shown in the salary column. So it is based on this condition that these rows are returned. 5,000 is the start of this range and it is inclusive. That's why we have 5,000 here. 10,000 is the end of the range and it is inclusive. While defining it, we said both endpoints are inclusive. So here now, 5,000 is the endpoint on the left, 10,000 is the endpoint on the right, and both are included in the selection. So between is simply going to consider the range that you provide and then select rows based on that. Let's say that we want age. We would say select, let's just have first name and let's have age because we want to see the ages from employees, where age between 30 and 35 semicolon. Let's hit enter. So notice that we only have employees with age between 30 and 35. You're not going to see any age less than 30 here. You're not going to see any age greater than 35 here. So that's how between operator is used. Now let's look at the in operator. In operator allows you to specify a list of values for comparison, and then it's going to check if a value matches any value in the specified list. Let's head back to command line client. So to use the operator working with employees table, we can have select, let's just say star from employees, and then we are going to have where, and we will specify the column which is age. We want to work with the age column this time, and we would have in written like this, and then within parentheses we are going to specify the values to consider. So we want to check for 30, 35, 40, and let's have a semicolon end it. So here we want to retrieve all rows from the employees table where the age matches any of the values specified in this list. Now let's execute this query, and if we check the age column, because the condition here is on the age column, if we check the age column, we are going to see that we only have ages 30, 35, and 40. We also have the not in operator. Not in operator is going to do the exact opposite. So rather than show rows that contain ages that are in this list, it is going to show rows that do not contain these ages. Let's execute this query. Notice that to use not in, you're just going to have not space and in. And then in this case, it comes to select star from employees where age not in, then we'll specify this list. Now let's execute this query, and if you check the age column, you are going to notice that we do not have 30 anywhere, we do not have 35 anywhere, we do not have 40 anywhere. I hope that that's clear. Now before we wrap up, let's take a look at is null. Working with is null, I'm going to just have an example. I'd say select star from employees, and I'd say where first name equals null, and then I would end with a semicolon, and we have an empty set returned. Notice that nothing is returned. But if we select star from employees, that would be giving us all the data in the employees table. Notice that we have some null values in the first name column. We have null on row 21, we have null on row 22. However, we had an empty set returned to us as though we do not have any null values in the first name column. Now, the issue is with the way this query is written. When trying to use null as a condition, you do not use this equal to sign. You'd rather have is written out like this. So we would instead have select star from employees where first name is null. And now let's execute this query. Notice that we have this data now returned showing null in the first name column, and it just so happens to have null in all other columns, but the condition of this query here is only based on first name column. And that's it for today. I really hope that you found today's lesson useful. If you have any questions or comments, please say them in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to learning. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.